So hello everybody that's going to watch this, and Marianne and Thomas. This is a special edition of Happy Melly Coffee. It is the first one that's ever self-organized by our community members. And today we have as a guest a Commodore 64 kid, an innovator that has claimed that happy people build better products than agile teams. So Thomas, welcome.
Thank you.
Since we have many agilists in all forms and shapes in Happy Valley, and we believe that happiness at work should be the new normal, Mark and Marianne felt it would be a great idea to reach out to Thomas and ask him in person to tell us a bit more about it. So Thomas, big thanks to you, and big thanks to Marianne and Mark for the initiative. And that would be enough talking for me. Thomas, I'm going to leave the floor to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna click share screen.
Yep.
And now when I do this, everything works, right? Awesome. Okay, so I'm here to make this bold claim. Happy people build better products than agile teams. This is a Happy Melly special edition. I gave this speech a few years ago in local agile event, which was organized by university. So there was university research people who are researching agile and software in general. So that was I think there was like 200-300 people participating, and I gave this talk there. And naturally, after my talk, there was a lot of people from academic community wanting to talk with me right after the show. Okay, so let's get going. So I'm Tuomas Jomppanen. Much easier to call me Thomas. I'm a manager. I work in OP Financial Group, which is a bank, and it's an insurance company, and it's a wealth management company in Finland. We are the biggest bank in Finland, and which OP is a different kind of beast in a way that we are a cooperative. So that gives a bit of different spin in our corporate life, as we don't have shareholders as in public companies, or all our customers are our shareholders, and everybody gets to own just one share. So that's cooperative. Basically, for example, Rabobank is a same kind of bank as OP Financial Group. So first, of course, I have to make this disclaimer about my presentations. Digital products, they can be built different ways. Things I talk about may work or may not work for you. For our teams or our organization, we are constantly trying to find better ways to do our work. So this is relevant today, but if we find better ways tomorrow, we definitely gonna change our ways. So with this, you've been warned. So let's get going. So I'm gonna talk about product which is called Pivo, and it's a mobile app, and it's a smart wallet. It's a banking product, which means that it generally banking products in Finland were pretty dull, and they were basically, us banks forced our customers to use them, and they weren't that user friendly. So with that, our main focus was design, and we spent a lot of time making sure that things look really nice, because design is and with that in mind, design is actually the how. Well, I define design in a way that it actually design is the way you solve the problem. So it's not necessarily the way it looks, but how fluently it solves your problem. I think that's design. So Pivo is actually an internal startup of OP. And basically it started as a typical software product, but then we were three or four of us, and then we just started doing our own way, and with baby steps, small victories that we got bigger and bigger and managed to get more momentum, and finally we managed to release the app and continue to build it, and with that we started winning awards, which is a pretty new thing for a bank and an insurance company. We won awards on best design, best mobile application, best digital design, and we actually won one red dot. So we were in Berlin accepting one award from there, and that was like pretty darn cool, accepting a this product. I'm not sure what was the exact category, but that was a cool night. But basically this is how we run things back then, and obviously now we do that also, but the whole thing was split into two. So we had a product owner team and development team, and then we had stakeholders, and the product owner team was in the middle of as a firewall to development team, and we had business, marketing, systems partners, etc. And product owner team means that there was product owner. For example, I was product owner for a while, and then where we had designers like service designers and UI designers, and then we had development teams which had developers, QA people, Scrum masters, and then as the team grew, we had to add this kind of more management layer, so to say. So we had a back-end lead guy and client development lead guy and a QA lead guy. So we had a automatic testing and manual testing with QA. Let's see. Okay, so how we built the thing is how we actually made a mobile wallet that is actually fun to use. So from the get-go, we thought that this lean thing is really cool thing. We had our background was in startups, and we knew that because they are little money and a little time, it forces them to make like really good decisions. And this is speaking from the survival bias point of view. And all the successful startups that you see, they have done something really right. So of course we imitated them and took this lean product development into use. So first thing that we had first question that we had in mind, that do people actually have a problem with mobile wallets? Because we were tasked to do a mobile wallet, and that can be done in many ways. So instead of making this very serious business plan and project plan and all of that, we actually did nothing of those, and we did this. So basically we just went to people and asked them what, of course in a very specific ways. So we basically did this scientific research of mobile wallets and what are the problems. So that's a good example of how you ask people that what do you have, so how do they interact with, for example, their money. So asking them to walk through certain scenario, and then they start doing and they start explaining the whole thing, and then you can ask more questions. But basically, the point is to ask things that are related to that, something that they did, not the things that they have opinions on, but something that they have acted on. So what we found out that paying with cash or card is not a problem. And this was like 3 years ago, and the world is changed a bit, but still, especially in Finland, payment cards are like, they have almost 80% of all transactions in Finland are made with card, like payment cards, Visa debit or Visa credit or MasterCard or whatnot. So turns out there's actually not a like big problem with payments. People are happy to pay with their cash or card. So we dig deeper, and we found out that the moments before and after the purchase, they might have few problems worth solving. And so how we actually learned this is that the same thing that how we did learn this, and the big thing is the stuff we learn, is it actual valid information? Does it make sense? So if our research is wrong, then we're totally going in the wrong direction. So instead of doing science fiction, like coming up things from our own head, we focused on validated learning, and we had to get solid facts. That people pay with phone. Merchants want people to pay with mobile phone because it's faster, but the real problems is not the payment itself. So this, from us, lean means that it's fast and it's validated. So every time we go in certain direction, we go fast, and we go with full certainty that this is the right direction that we're going. So our inspiration in this is, of course, customer development, Steve Blank, and Lean Startup, which is like a fun fact that Eric Ries was in Oulu, the city where I'm from. He was giving a lecture before he became famous. He was talking about Lean Startup, but like 6 months after, the Lean Startup exploded, and there's no, like, probably he just added 1 0 after the his speaker's fee. But that was a good thing, that nice thing that I get to say that I've seen Eric Ries live, and even back when he wasn't that famous, which is many years ago. So, and then Lean Canvas, of course, that's our model of documenting things. So just one paper, and then this mom test book is like most, like, I don't know, it's probably the best book on service design in my mind, and that's just basically teaching how to ask questions that validate your assumptions. So the mom test comes from the idea that if you ask something about from your mom, that, hey mom, what do you think about this product I built? Your mom is gonna say, oh, it's the best thing ever, like every time. And if you trust that piece of information, it might not be the best product. So and then jobs to be done, which is new thinking on product design. And this is how we operate. This is actually really hard to do, but if you just keep, for example, if you just make sure that you just have like 4 hours to do this, it's doable. We've done it many times, but we actually failed many times also. It just every time we fail, it means that, like, somewhere along the way we started thinking too big, and then started to think too like complex issues. But when we keep it simple, we can do it in 3 or 4 hours. So we just have an idea, and then we brainstorm it. We use lean canvas, and then we create hypotheses, and then we go out of the building and interview people, and then we come back and analyze. And that takes 4 hours, 3-4 hours. But this is really hard. To have one person who's facilitating the whole thing, making sure that we are focusing on the right things. So this is problem validation. Let's find a problem that actually exists in our target customer lives. And yet, like I explained, actions mean much more than words. And once we know that, okay, this is the right way to go, then we build prototypes, and then we do solution interviews. So basically we give them a prototype, and then we observe how they interact with it, and then we ask questions, and again we analyze the whole thing, and once if it's good, then we go forward. But usually it means that especially the first round, it analyze. Usually we have to go back into the drawing board and start going through our hypothesis again, because that's how it goes. With these interviews, the amount of information gets bigger and bigger, and with that every iteration, it's just more vast amount of information, like it gets compressed in the in the minds of our brainstormers. So usually it takes like 3-4 rounds to actually get into the phase of customer journeys, if it's like facilitated and get the whole thing focused. So, but then again, that's how we did the whole pivot concepting. So that's called solution validation. So with the prototype, we can see that the product it solves a problem that the customer is having. So iterate. We don't just accept the first answer. We go back and forth, change our assumptions, hypotheses, and prototypes. We do that until the customer is happy. So this is the whole thing. And in the bigger picture, this is our process. So first we ask, does the customer have a problem? And then next step is to find out the answer, that does our solution solve a problem? And then again, the second question is, are they willing to pay for it? And that's our process in a nutshell. So okay, so that was the concept. This is how we concept things. So what then? Then we actually built the software, and now we're getting closer to the topic of my talk. So happy team. It means that the product owner has to be willing to sacrifice the illusion of controlling everything. So there's no way of when I was a product owner for Pivo, there was no way that I could control everything. It just didn't work that way. Like, I don't think there's any software projects or products that go smoothly and without problems and without delays or without like new technical challenges or whatnot. But the thing is that we try to keep the concept as solid as as good as possible. So we don't have to worry about the concept when we're building a feature or something. We just have to worry about building, making it real. So I think that makes a bit easier. Okay, so the way I think about software projects is that there's this. So you can place project in these two axes. So there's a known solution, an unknown solution, an unknown problem, and a known problem. So if you have a known solution and known problem, that usually means that it's pretty easy to build. It's pretty easy to say that it might take 3 months, perhaps. But further you go to the unknown territory, it, like I always say that if somebody asks me so how, like telling me, okay, we need to build feature X, how long it takes to build it, and they rush it and say, okay, I know it's just like a guess or estimate, but give me a number, and I tell them that, so okay, this might take 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, and that's the scale of unknown problem, unknown solution type of things. So easier and harder, and this is how I think for e-commerce platforms, CMS. So those are things that have been built many times. But for example, Pivo, which was a new product, a new project, nobody hasn't. That's like, that was the first time the team was building anything like that. So of course it was really, the problem was unknown, even though we did the concept validation, but still, and then we did the unknown, so we had unknown solution also. So it means that predictable and unpredictable, and our product was, I mean, all the products that are in this unknown quadrant, it means that those are like really unpredictable, and there's no way of making any. I mean, you can do estimates, but it doesn't really, they are just estimates, right? With okay, there's no point of making estimates in this quadrant. So it's like what I said, really impossible to make, like, do correct estimates. How you can actually estimate something that has never been built before? In Finland, there's this. Actually, nowadays it's a biggest project that is failing, and that's I don't know which company, but they are building a new nuclear plant in Finland, and it's over 10 years late, behind the schedule already, and they have no idea how long it's gonna take to finish it. So, and that's still, they are nuclear power plants built before, but still they are way behind. So in this unpredictable territories, milestones, they just become meaningless random dates, because everybody in the team knows that they don't make any sense, and they don't have any meaning. And of course, we are not completely milestone free, but we use them as rarely as possible. And one thing is what I found out, that people don't like worrying about schedules and estimates. I think that everybody has a certain amount of mana. You know, the thing that if you're playing with computer games and you're playing a wizard, and you make magic, and it costs you mana, and it takes time to gain it back. So that's the way I think that, like, all these worrying and things that make you unhappy, they eat your mana. And that means in a way that your like maximum amount of mana is not it's not that big as it could be. Like unhappy people have they have less mana than happy people. That's how I think about this. So, and one thing that is like the stupidest thing that I ever heard, like tracking hours is just waste of time, and it makes people really unhappy. There's no like, of course I understand that you have to, especially if you're a consultant, you have to somehow keep track of your times, but I'm much easier to do this, for example, weekly. So you bill by week or something like that. Not like did like 4.5 hours today. Yesterday I just did 4 hours, and last Friday I had like 8.5 hours worth of time. So it just it's not productive. So what if we take a new normal and we understand that the teamwork as close to the long-term maximum as possible when they're happy. So of course you can do this crunch times when you have a peak in productivity, but it doesn't long last. It's just probably a couple of weeks. But if you make sure that the team is happy in the long term, that's the biggest productivity you are gonna get from your team. Because unhappy people, they are not productive. And one thing is that people like working on meaningful things. So that's one way to make them happy. And people like learning new stuff. And in Pivo we were like really bold, trying out new things. They're like the back end guys. They're just a couple of them knew how to do stuff with Ruby, and they were familiar with Ruby on Rails. But in a couple of weeks, we switched from Java to Ruby on Rails. Of course, it cost us like velocity in a bit, but then again, people were happy about it. Of course, developers were happy about it because they are learning new stuff and they are building stuff much faster than they were doing with Java. And that was, even though we lost some time, but we gained the time back in many multiples, because happy people are more productive. And this is the back then, this was like when I did the talk first, this was actually brand new quote, but nowadays this is the one thing that I know, one thing that I see in LinkedIn like every day, but still it's true. So in our organization, we try to make sure that the people have a chance to learn what they're interested about. So if they are interested in big data, it's actually my job to find out if that can be happen. And fortunately, so far I've managed to find this meaningful work to everybody who have desires to learn something new. So focusing on people, put the processes on background. That's the way to go. One thing that it like helps a lot is to communicate the vision. So as a product owner, it's the main job of product owner to communicate the vision in a way that the whole team they are seeing the vision same way. And that's the thing you were hard to do. That in a jobs to be done framework, your team is hiring you to communicate the vision, showing the way that this is the product in 6 months, not the like micromanaging the tasks tomorrow because they know that thing, but a product owner needs to do the high level stuff. And one thing is you definitely don't want to do is to kill your team with the PowerPoint. So this is actually cool stuff. And now I'm thinking about that. Now we need to do this more as our team. Actually, I was today. I was actually doing one concept video, but still we need to make more. But these concept videos are just done with our own team. Sometimes it looks like really crappy. Sometimes it actually looks like really high quality. But the video as in media is so strong that once you show that the video to a person, this one happens. So first picture is worth of 10,000 words, but then when you make a small movie of your concept, it's actually much stronger. So you're actually brainwashing all your stakeholders or the team to see the concept in basically the way you want, because the medium is so strong. So if you think about like Lord of the Rings, yes, the books are really awesome, but if you nowadays ask, so describe Gandalf, so pretty much everybody is gonna describe the Gandalf in the movies. So that's how powerful movie is as a medium. So this is a process how we do concept video. So we have customer journeys from our concepts, and then we just make a rough storyboard about the happy case, and then we just go out and film it. And sometimes it just takes 1 hour, sometimes it takes whole day, but it's the best way to communicate the concept. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but this is a piece of one of our concept videos. We did that. This was the first concept video that we did with Vivo like many years ago. And if you can see, the UI was drawn with PowerPoint, and then there's downstairs there's a restaurant. So person acting, being the main star, she's our one of our designers, service designers, and so basically that was the whole thing. It took like, the whole video was like about 1 minute, but when we showed that to everybody had the same ideas. So okay, this is what we're gonna do, and this is how it's gonna affect the lives of the customers. And that's probably the best thing that we did in the whole project. So this is the way we develop Vivo. We don't use Scrum, we don't use Kanban, we don't estimate user stories, we just don't do estimates. Things are ready when they are ready. They basically, the only way that the outcome is managed is to prior with making sure that the team is working with the most important thing right now, and that's gonna be the first thing released, and that's the most efficient way of handling a product team or product development from a product owner perspective. So I think that it boils down to this. So software craftsmanship is like a really beautiful is it a philosophy or idea? I don't know, but if you somehow foster the idea that building software is a great thing, then you're gonna get great things. So we do just 1 week sprints. We just have one product backlog, and then of course we have component backlogs, and so we have 3 different clients. Windows Phone, Android, and iPhone. Then we have a backend team, 2 backend teams, and that's it. So that's why we have different backlogs. But the whole thing is basically the week starts with the planning meeting. Since we have 1 week sprints, the planning meeting takes about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It's like really, really fast. And it starts by going, product owner goes through the product backlog. And so these are the things that because the sprint planning is for all different teams, back-end teams, QA people, and client teams. So by going through the backlog, then we are all in the same page. And then this is about the communication of the vision and the product itself. So this is the backlog. There's these are as like epics or features, and they have stages. So first one is maybe we're gonna build it, I don't know. And then the second one is in concepting. It means that there's a service designer and product owner are working on it, and the end result is usually a concept video. And then it's gonna go to development, and it means building test cases and writing the code and figuring out all the stuff that needs to be done. And then we have a piloting and QA, which means that it's in the pilot of staging and QA environment, and then we're gonna release it, and that's it. And how we manage the product backlog, it's just one simple wiki page. We don't use any that's it. Just wiki page. Basically, it could be done with Notepad also, but saving a Notepad in the wiki page is much easier to do that. Good thing is that about half of backlog items, they actually come from team members. When they can participate, it means that they feel more vested, more committed to the product, and I think that's one of the main ingredients of our success. Everybody says the same vision, and therefore everybody knows that okay, in order to fill this vision, client developers need to build this small module there in order to do that, and I think this kind of like high level architecture designing is done by everybody, because everybody knows that okay, this is what we're gonna build, and they're constantly solving the problems in that way, and roadmap becomes a team effort, and I think that was back then when I was product owning people, that was like really like fun to see that the, for example, developers are coming up with their own backlog items because they found out that okay, in this concept video that's what is like small, like 1 second part that they noticed that in order to fill that we need to do, for example, change our authentication or whatnot, and so that's it. So in nutshell, we focus on people. We don't waste time on estimates. 1 week sprints. We communicate the roadmap constantly, and all the major features deserve a concept video, and then we release as often as possible. So we release stuff on every Thursday or Wednesday. So all the back-end releasing happens every week. Of course, clients have a different schedule, but as often as possible. So why do we care about happiness of the team? Actually, it means that when your team is happy, the customer is gonna be happy, and the product gets better. So basically, everybody wins. So Agile software projects, they are great, but as long as the team is happy. So if the team is unhappy, then the agile methods, they cannot save your product. It's gonna be late or it's gonna fail anyway. So if the happiness is the main ingredient in this equation. So this is a great example of a happy team and a happy customer. When we released a new version of Pivo, we got an email from pretty much one of our most loyal fans back then that she cannot use. She updated the application, but she can't use it anymore because she has a too old smartphone and it just doesn't support the features. So what we did is because of course we communicated this to the whole team, and I don't know who came up with the idea, but we actually sent her a new phone, and then we just pretty much everybody who were present on that day, we just we took a picture and sent this picture to her with the phone, and of course she was like really happy about it, and so these are the things that needs to be done, and needs to be, if somebody wants to take a phone and then take a picture and send the phone to our customers, then let's do that, because you gotta give 110% to your customers, because they are paying your salary. They are paying your car, they are paying your house, their mortgage, so you need to take care of your customers. So Pivo was a success in our corporate culture. So this was pretty much the first thing that was built in different way, new way, fresh way. OP Financial Group is a 9,000 over. OP has like over 9,000 people working, and we are over 100-year-old company. So that means that we have gained. I mean, well, there's some processes that haven't been changed in the 80s or something, but we did things in a new way, and it became a success. So so first we had a Pivo, but then the like top management decided that, okay, these guys are doing great things, so now let's give them more. Let's like give them a bigger playing ground and see what they can do. So we are now actually an innovation lab. So OP has an innovation lab. We have almost 100 people working, and in 3 locations, and we have almost 20 product teams trying to build new Pivos. They are trying to building new products in fintech space. So with that, culture is nowadays a full-time job, and for me, I'm actually nowadays I'm in charge of our culture, our OP Lab culture. So I'm trying to do everything there is to be done to somehow keep the culture as it was when we just had 20 people or 50 people with people, and now we have much more. And I'm hiring. I'm the one who hires people. So but then all the teams, they always have a veto. So basically it goes in a way that I interview first, and then next interview is with the team, and so if somebody says that nope, not good enough, then it's the game over for this applicant. So that's something that cannot be. We just don't make compromises because they're gonna spend 7.5 hours per day with the person. So let's make sure that the team feels comfortable working with the new guy. So I'm not gonna lie about this. we have doubled our headcount in 1 year. So what have we found out that the culture, it just doesn't scale as fast. Of course, the people culture is still strong, but we have trouble spreading the culture because there are just so many new people, and it takes time to spread it. So one thing that I've been focusing on is the onboarding. So I'm trying to do my best to onboard the people in the right way. I spend the whole day with the first day a new person comes in. I try to spend the whole day and just basically talk, explain things, and introduce people, and go through all the teams, and then after a few days I'm gonna go lunch with, like, it's called intro lunch, and talk again, just talking about the new, like, experience, and giving pointers that, okay, let's talk with that guy, and so forth, and then I'm trying to introduce people. So for example, if somebody some new person is into Elixir, then I'm gonna introduce that person with people who are already interested in Elixir in our organization, and hobbies also. So that's pretty much what I'm focusing on. Then we have tribe system going. So basically all the programmers, they have, since we have almost 20 different teams with programmers working on their own stuff, then we have tribes that all the programmers, they are one tribe, and they have discussions and events, and all the designers are one tribe, and QA people, and so that's one thing that we've been introducing lately. But how I measure my success as a ambassador of culture is the less meetings I have in my calendar. That means I have more time to talk with people, to interact with the people. So that means that the more successful I am doing my job. And it's I'm constantly trying to figure out better ways to do to spread the culture to almost 200 people, and yet next year we are definitely gonna grow more. So it's a struggle, but if we don't pay attention to the culture thing, then we're gonna end up having teams with lots of unhappy people, and then we're gonna lose the productivity, and the products will suck, and it's just gonna snowball from there. So it's a really critical thing to make sure that the culture stays good and the people stay happy. Okay, so that was my presentation, and I have a webpage, tuomas.io, and I'm on Twitter as a Tuomas J TUOMA. Anyway, it's much easier to read from there. Okay, so
people will have this information. Thank you so much, Thomas.
You're welcome.
It is. I think both Marianne and I had to smile a couple of times.
Not just a couple of times. I smiled pretty much the whole way through, but it's pretty hard to keep your smile on your face.
Yeah, because my presentation was really long.
No, you weren't actually. I think you're 50 minutes in, something like that, since we pushed the recording button.
Yeah, good.
I do have two questions though.
Good.
With 20 product teams, that's what you're talking about, I think.
Yeah.
How do you keep out the people that would rather focus on keeping all the processes and the tools in check for everybody the same, sort of keeping out the processes and tools police?
I try not to do that. If they want to use their own tool, then I'm by it. I think it boils down to the fact of software craftsmanship. So if the of course the team knows, but I'm giving my trust to people, the teams that they know they are the best. They have the most knowledge of the domain problem, and it's up to them to solve the problem. I'm just trying to make sure there's no speed bumps or anything. I think that I don't know if it's it's just a Finnish thing, but so there's two ways you can give carrots, or you can get stick to a horse to make it move. And I believe that you can like burn the stick and give as much carrots as you can. I don't know if it's is it just a Finnish saying, but still, I think it's just like do everything as possible, like everything. I don't know. The positivity is the foundation of things. Because if you think about like a job, basically you have to have a job in order to pay your mortgage and pay your car and so in that sense everybody is forced to be in there in the workplace. So because that I think that with that being on the on the bottom, the only way you can like get the best of out of people is to like bring as much positivity and positive things to their job. So if it means that they want to use Java instead of Ruby, and they can they can use Java as much as they like, as long as they're solving the problem.
Yeah, great. Because that's one of the things that I've been running into in my Agile escapades, so to speak. It's people that are so entrenched in we all have to do it the same way, and no, you can't have differences between teams because then it will be difficult to move people between teams. And I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't move them, or if they want to move, you train them. Somebody is chatting at me as well. A little. That's
good point. So if I click here,
I like that.
Nope. Oh, that's a.
And I figure that you're so right in just let them use whatever they want to use, and they'll be more productive because they're happy using what they want to use. And somebody else comes and joins the team, then fine, they'll get trained.
Yeah.
And that's in the end is going to be a lot more productive than trying to make everybody fit into the same mold.
Yeah. I think and that you have to be like really just hire the best people in. So if you're hiring of course you try to find out this fit with the team and the person, and if like it's like if you hire the wrong person, you have to just solve it by, for example, moving to another team or but then again I think it's like really critical to actually make sure that the team structure is all the they get along and they think about the same way with, for example, software craftsmanship as one of the values that they appreciate. And
well, when you're hiring someone, would you be selecting more on personality and values rather than skills?
Definitely personality and values.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if they're like really enjoying their work, they're gonna learn so much faster, and they're gonna, if there's like a big gap of knowledge that's gonna be filled in a couple of weeks just because they are so inspired and happy to do their work.
You
I
need
think
to
you
come
put it.
forward and talk for conferences and talk to so many people.
Yeah.
We've got some work cut out for us, guys.
Yeah. But I think you put it very nicely in one of your slides, Thomas, where you said that culture doesn't scale as fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can teach somebody to work with a certain tool in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But if you hire somebody that is really not used to self-organized teams, to work on a no estimates basis, to get them, to grow them, to get used to that, it's going to take much more time, if possible at all. Because you're at a certain velocity. You're trying to make progress. You're trying to keep a certain speed. People do that by themselves, and if you don't fit in that the culture, then you will see productivity going down. You will see all the negative effects.
That may be true, but you don't want to have people that fit each other 100% all of the time, because then you get the group thing going, and they lose their creativity, they lose their freshness, they lose everything. So you need people that are a fit for the most part, but you also need the diversity to keep.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I actually, one of the latest hires that we hired is he's a math teacher and he's a football judge. Those are the.
I'll fit in. I'm a taiko drummer.
Yeah. So and you have to take risks sometimes, and I think that one thing that I say that I say that okay, like you have my complete trust to do the best thing you want to do. I mean, if they always like second guess that am I allowed to do this or am I allowed to do that, I think that's better. You get better results to saying that okay, that you're hard because you are smart person, and I trust you to solve this problem and do it in the way you see fit, and usually that gets the best results, and of course you have to give guidance and teach like out teach your teams, and that in a way that if they solve certain things in a wrong way or they don't, and so just teach them, and next time it's gonna be better, and I think that one of the like cornerstones of a culture is this like constant learning, and everybody knows that okay, this I'm not just I think that the for example product that's being built, the lines of code of that the people are writing or the test cases they are doing, it's just a byproduct of learning. So I think that so if you just get them to learn new stuff, all the good things happen.
Yeah. Do you have any coaches on there to help you? Because I guess with 20 product teams, you have a lot of people around there, and
we have this
to advocate the culture and to spread it and spread ways of working. Not everybody is as good as somebody else in working together. The teams do that. Is any coaching going on at all?
I'd like to say that yes, we are doing that, but that's something that we are trying to like get better at. We have, I think the way for us is to approach that through the tribes. So tribes is one method of coaching So we used to have we constantly have these tech events that somebody found out. Okay, this for example, React is a new kind of cool thing. So here's what I learned, and then somebody gives a presentation, and then we have a Q&A session afterwards. But that's for example something that we need to do with all tribes, and that's also something that you cannot force. That you cannot say to somebody that okay, you have like do presentation on jobs to be done in 2 weeks, and it's not gonna just work. You have to approach it through positivity and something that they feel passionate about, and they want to share it with people, and with Finnish people, because we are like really shy and I don't know if you have seen Finnish people on TV. We are not the most loud ones, and bit reserved. So it's I think it's that gives extra challenge to this thing.
It would do, but then again, let's not put it to most, but many techies are introverts, or at least not as loud as many others. But
Yeah.
happens. I happen to be. I always thought I was an introvert, but I'm not. So I'm rediscovering some things. It's fun, but I have to say I completely agree, and I'm very jealous of all the people working at OP.
Well, tell you the truth, we are just 100 people organization. The rest of the OP is still a bit more traditional than us. So.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I phrased it wrong, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, Thomas, I think what you're trying to say is that you're actually working at OP Happiness Lab, no?
Oh,
yeah.
That's,
I think I wouldn't say happiness right now. That's the end goal. Hopefully, in 6 months or 1 year, I feel comfortable of saying happiness lab. But yeah. Even though like this presentation sounds like really great, but still, I feel that we have so much more stuff to do in to making sure that everybody is happy as possible in their work.
So what is the role of TeamScore IO in all this? Is that a side project for you, or are you?
Oh yeah, actually yes. I think that's something to. I think this is like a logical step forward to. I'm thinking that so how I actually measure somehow to get tangible results, and of course there's these tools that just you can do that with Google Forms also, just give like score of how happy you are, but then it doesn't say anything about your teammates, and so if with TeamScore you can make surveys where you peer review your own team. So in you give a personal score and professional score, and then you can see that depending on the whoever is or like paying for the survey, they can share the whole thing. But that's something that I'm not sure that all teams can be so open about things that they can say that this one guy is like bugging me in that way. But I think it's a way of making the communication easier. So when you have these scores that okay, this one guy is a bit annoying, then it might be easier to actually start talking about it and start unraveling the whole thing until that's a tool that you use before it's too late. I mean, once everybody is like really pissed about it, and then basically you lose your team and they will leave for new jobs. And so that's something that I've been doing as a side project, and actually I didn't even realize that it's pretty close to the problem domain that I'm doing in work. So in a way that I was just trying to, what I'm trying to say that I guess I'm like finding my why. So why I'm doing this, why I'm like constantly getting into these roles of making sure that people are happy doing their, well, not happy. I'm thinking about the how we can get the most out of people, and I think the only way you can get this through happiness.
So I think you should simply join Happy Valley. I will send you a sign up form.
Yeah, sure.
I think there's a great two-way learning. There's many people that experiment with ways to keep people happy in the workplaces.
Yeah.
Some have great ideas, and I'm very sure that many of them can learn a couple of things from you as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely sure.
One thing that actually is like, I'm not sure. For hopefully someday it's gonna be a trend, but nutrition. So the stuff you eat, stuff you in workplace, it's like a human is like a it's like a complete package. You have to make sure that the person is like, well, I don't know. I'm like trying to still figure out the whole thing. But first, you make sure that they're happy, and then you make sure that they actually are physically happy in a way that you eat them. You make sure, well, not make sure, but you give them possibility to eat healthy food and stuff like that.
Healthy food, meditation, sports, all the good things. You know? So I'm going to send you a couple of links that you just to give you an impression, Thomas, of indeed what the things that are going on in Happy Valley and within brands that's most Happy Valley.
Yeah,
I think you might find some nice things in there that help you shape with what's going on in your mind.
Oh, good.
But again, I think you have great things to tell, great things to share. And I'm sure many people in our community would be happy to engage in discussions on that. And I see that Marianne is almost at the end of what she can take for today.
Sort of. I'm just sitting lazily on my couch.
Just saying, we're still recording. No, so let me. I will start stopping with the recording. So Thomas, again, thank you very much for presenting this material to us. I've learned a couple of things. I think everybody that will see this video will learn a couple of things. I think many people that will watch this video will sit with a smile on their faces. And it's really very much appreciated. So again,
it certainly is.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Exactly. Applause. And so with that, we come to the end of this Happy Valley Coffee.